The unbreakable rule. The Galactic Senate and the Forbidden Law. The Galactic Senate convened under the vast, shimmering dome of the Imperial Core, a space station orbiting the twin suns of Arathis Prime. Hundreds of alien species gathered in their designated seats, a sea of luminous eyes, scaled skin, and shifting bioluminescence. At the center of the chamber stood Admiral Vortal, his dark red exoskeleton glinting under the council lights. He was a decorated war strategist, a conqueror of worlds, and today he sought to push the Empire further into forbidden territory. This law, Vortal declared, his mandibles clicking, is nothing but an outdated superstition, a relic of ancient fear. A ripple of unease spread through the assembly. Even among the war-hardened elites of the Galactic Empire, some hesitated to challenge rule number one of the universe. Don't touch the Earth's women. It had been enforced not by treaties or political pacts, but by something far more primal: fear. For centuries, those who violated the rule had vanished without explanation. Empires that dared to break it crumbled into ruin, their planets left barren. No one knew why, only that the warnings were real. A senator from the Thalvex Dominion, a race of amphibian-like beings, leaned forward. You speak boldly, Admiral, but we have seen the fates of those who defied this commandment. Vortal sneered. Coincidence? Those empires were weak, their destruction inevitable. Earth is a primitive backwater, its people insignificant. And yet, we let them exist, untouched, unchallenged. Why? Because of ghost stories. Silence. Then, another voice rose, a bureaucrat from the Zanari Consortium, his insectoid limbs twitching nervously. You propose we take Earth's women? Not all. Just a few, Vortal said smoothly. For study, to unlock whatever evolutionary advantage has made them so fiercely protected. Once we prove that nothing will happen, the Empire will claim Earth as it should have long ago. The Senate murmured. It was an ambitious proposal. Risky. But the rewards, control over Earth's genetic resources, their resilient species, their untapped potential, were tempting. After a moment, the High Chancellor's voice echoed through the chamber. The motion is passed. And so, the fate of the galaxy was sealed. The invasion begins. On Earth, the night was calm. Somewhere in the dense forests of Montana, Captain Rachel Carter leaned against her cabin's porch railing, sipping her coffee. The former Special Forces operative had retired from active duty, preferring the peace of the wilderness over the chaos of war. But that peace shattered when the sky split open. A brilliant flash of light tore through the darkness as an alien ship, sleek, metallic, and humming with energy, descended silently above the treetops. Rachel's instincts kicked in immediately. She dropped her mug, rolling into a crouch just as figures emerged from the ship, their glowing visors scanning the area. Not human, armed, organized. She didn't hesitate. Moving like a shadow, she grabbed the pistol from her side holster and fired. The first shot struck an alien in the throat, its purple blood spraying into the night air. The others reacted instantly, unleashing a wave of stunned pulses that crackled against the trees. Rachel dodged, flipping behind cover, her mind racing. This wasn't some random encounter. This was a coordinated abduction, and she was the target. The warning is ignored. Elsewhere, in cities across the world, it was the same. Women, scientists, soldiers, civilians were disappearing, snatched from their homes, their labs, their streets. The abductions were surgical. No witnesses, no survivors. By the time world governments realized what was happening, it was already too late. The alien ships were gone, vanishing into the void, and humanity's response was immediate. Deep beneath the Pentagon, in a hidden war room, global leaders and military commanders stood around a holographic display, tracking the fleeing ships. They violated the rule, one general said grimly. A silent acknowledgement passed through the room. There had always been rumors, whispers of what would happen if the rule was broken. Now it was no longer speculation. It was war. Captured, but not defeated. Aboard one of the alien vessels, Rachel woke to the sensation of cold metal beneath her skin. Restraints bound her wrists and ankles, glowing with an eerie blue energy. Around her, other women, scientists, soldiers, civilians, were trapped in similar containment pods. A deep, guttural voice echoed through the chamber. Strange, it mused. No fear. Rachel lifted her head and locked eyes with Admiral Vortal, who stood on an observation platform above them. She smirked. "Oh, you have no idea what you've just done." Vortal's mandibles twitched in amusement. "Your people are primitive. You think Earth can stand against the might of the Empire." Rachel leaned forward against her restraints. She wasn't scared, because she knew something the aliens didn't. Something that had been whispered through the ages. Something that was about to become their worst nightmare. You just declared war on the wrong species. And far across the galaxy, in the vast reaches of space, Earth's true power began to awaken. The retaliation. Rachel Carter's rebellion. Rachel Carter had been in worse situations. Maybe not alien abduction worse, but she'd faced impossible odds before. As a Special Forces operative, she had survived hostage crises, insurgent warfare, and Black Ops missions where extraction was a distant dream. This was just another battlefield. She sat in the cold metal cell of the alien ship, her wrists still bound by the strange energy cuffs. The air was thick with a sterile, metallic scent, and overhead, dim blue lights pulsed in slow intervals. The ship hummed around her, vast and indifferent. But she wasn't alone. Around her, nearly 50 other women were imprisoned, scientists, soldiers, civilians. Some were terrified. Others were angry. A few, like Rachel, were waiting, watching, calculating. Rachel turned to the woman nearest to her, a NASA scientist named Dr. Elaine Parker. "Do you know how to break these cuffs?" Elaine shook her head. "Some kind of high-energy binding field. I need tools." Rachel smirked. "I can get us tools." She had already mapped out her captor's movements. The guards patrolled in predictable patterns. Their weapons, some form of energy rifles, were attached to their armor, but their sidearms? Holstered, reachable. Rachel flexed her fingers. "When they come back, follow my lead." Minutes passed. The hum of the ship continued. Then the doors hissed open. 2 alien guards stepped inside, their red eyes scanning the prisoners. One moved toward Rachel, his clawed fingers tapping at a control pad. That was his mistake. Rachel exploded into motion. She lunged forward, twisting her body so the cuffs slammed into the alien's face. He reeled back, hissing in pain. She hooked her leg behind his knee, sending him sprawling. Before he could recover, she snatched the pistol from his holster and fired. A single shot. The second guard crumpled before he could react. Silence. Then chaos. Rachel tossed the weapon to Elaine while yanking the fallen alien's control pad free. "See if you can disable these cuffs." Elaine's hands moved fast, eyes darting between the alien interface and Rachel's bindings. A few seconds later, the cuffs flickered and deactivated. Rachel grinned. Now even the odds. The battle for the slave ship. The next few minutes were a blur of violence and precision. Rachel led the prisoners through the corridors, ambushing patrols and seizing weapons. The captured women, some with military backgrounds, quickly adapted. Even those with no combat experience fought with the desperation of the condemned. By the time they reached the ship's control deck, they had eliminated over a dozen guards. Rachel took stock. "Elaine, can you access the ship's comms?" Elaine slid into the alien control station, her fingers moving over the unfamiliar interface. "Give me a second." "Got it." Rachel grabbed the nearest transmitter and spoke into it. "This is Captain Rachel Carter of Earth. To any human forces receiving this, we are alive. We have taken an enemy vessel, and we're taking the fight to them." Then, she turned to the remaining captives. "Who's ready to fly?" Earth strikes back. Across the solar system, humanity had already been preparing. The moment the alien ships had vanished with their captives, Earth's governments, so often divided, united in an instant. Emergency protocols were enacted. A hidden fleet, long kept in secrecy, mobilized. The Black Fleet, Earth's most classified military force, had been waiting for something like this. And when Rachel's message came through, they didn't hesitate. Ambush at Mars. Admiral Vortal stood on the bridge of his warship, watching as the newly captured humans struggled aboard their transports. His soldiers reported resistance, but he dismissed it. A few primitives fighting back meant nothing. Then his sensors screamed warnings. At first, he didn't understand. The void of space, once empty, erupted with human warships. They came from behind Mars, launching in tight formations, their designs sleek and deadly. But what horrified Vortal wasn't just their numbers. It was the technology. Earth should have been centuries behind the Empire in warfare. And yet, their ships moved with precision, speed, and impossible firepower. The lead vessel, an angular black behemoth, opened fire. A beam of concentrated plasma sliced through an Imperial dreadnought like it was paper. Explosions rippled across the fleet. Alien ships panicked, breaking formation. Vortal's mandibles clenched. How? Human ships should have been inferior. But they weren't. They had waited, prepared, evolved, and now they were here to kill. Rachel's victory. Back on the hijacked alien ship, Rachel and her team had taken control of navigation. Elaine managed to decipher enough of the alien interface to redirect their trajectory. Rachel keyed the comms again. Black Fleet, this is Carter. We have a ship full of prisoners, but we're locked in. A human voice responded. We see you. Stand by. Then, through the viewing port, Rachel watched Earth's retaliation in full force. The Black Fleet tore through the galactic forces with brutal efficiency. Fighters weaved between enemy ships, exploiting weaknesses no alien had considered. The battle was over in minutes. As Rachel's ship was pulled into a safe dock aboard a human cruiser, she exhaled. They had done it. They had fought back. But she knew this was only the beginning. She turned to Elaine. We're taking this fight all the way to their homeworld. Elaine swallowed hard. And what happens when we win? Rachel's expression was stone cold. We make damn sure they never forget why the rule existed in the first place. And with that, humanity prepared to burn the Empire to the ground. Humanity's wrath. The Empire in panic. The Galactic Empire had never known fear. For millennia, it had crushed rebellions, annexed entire civilizations, and rewritten the history of countless species under its rule. It had never lost a war. Until now, the destruction of the Imperial fleet near Mars sent shockwaves through the Empire. Worlds that had once cowered under its rule now whispered of human vengeance. High-ranking officials argued behind closed doors, scrambling for explanations. How did they do it? Demanded Chancellor Vexus, her serpentine features twisting in fury. Earth was supposed to be insignificant. No one had an answer. Across the Empire, panic spread like wildfire. Entire planetary systems defected overnight, unwilling to face humanity's wrath. Imperial generals, once arrogant, now deserted in droves. Yet the Emperor refused to believe the battle was lost. The humans are a nuisance, he snarled to his war council. We will respond with overwhelming force. But no matter how many fleets he ordered to mobilize, Earth struck first. The Black Fleet's warpath. Humanity did not waste time. Even as the Galactic Empire hesitated, Earth's forces launched a coordinated counterattack. Strike teams infiltrated Imperial strongholds. Advanced cybernetic assassins eliminated key warlords in their own palaces. But the true horror came from the Black Fleet. Wherever it arrived, entire Imperial planets surrendered without a fight. Admiral Vortal, once so confident in the Empire's supremacy, watched helplessly as human warships hunted down the remnants of his fleet. He saw human soldiers stronger, faster, more ruthless than any alien had imagined, cut through Imperial defenses like they were nothing. One by one, Imperial strongholds fell. One by one, the mighty Galactic Empire crumbled. And then, the humans made their intentions clear. They weren't just here to win. They were here to eradicate the Empire itself. Rachel Carter's final message. Deep within the Imperial core worlds, Rachel Carter led a strike force on a mission that would shake the galaxy to its core. Her team infiltrated a heavily guarded communications relay, one of the last secure links the Empire had left. Stealth and subterfuge were not their objective. This was a message. Rachel stood before the holocron, her expression cold and unyielding as her image was broadcast across the Empire. "This is Captain Rachel Carter of Earth," she began, her voice echoing through every Imperial world, every military station, every desperate, trembling command center. "You broke the rule." Her words hung in the air, a death sentence. "You thought Earth was weak. You thought we would kneel." She took a step forward, her eyes burning with fury. "But you didn't understand. You never understood." A pause. The weight of history pressed down on the galaxy. "Now we are coming for you." And across the Empire, entire civilizations began to surrender before the war had even reached them. The Emperor's last stand. But the Emperor was not ready to fall. Faced with the annihilation of his empire, he gathered what remained of his once mighty armada and retreated to the heavily fortified Imperial homeworld, Zephyros Prime, a fortress planet, a place no enemy had ever set foot upon. Here, he would make his final stand. But he underestimated humanity's resolve. The Black Fleet arrived in force, not to negotiate, not to occupy, but to end the Empire once and for all. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Imperial warships, massive and bristling with weapons, unleashed everything they had. Planetary defense grids roared to life, hurling plasma and antimatter into the void. Thousands of Imperial soldiers swore oaths to die before surrendering. But humanity had already won. They moved too fast, struck too precisely, adapted too quickly. For every Earth ship destroyed, 10 Imperial vessels fell. For every human soldier lost, entire battalions of aliens were wiped out. And then the final blow came. Rachel Carter, leading an elite infiltration team, breached the Emperor's throne room. She stared at the ruler of a dying empire. "Please," he gasped, blood pooling around him. You don't have to do this." Rachel raised her weapon. "You broke the rule." And with a single shot, the Galactic Empire ceased to exist. A new galactic order. When the dust settled, the galaxy had changed. Earth did not claim an empire. They did not enslave. Instead, they left a message for the universe. Earth is untouchable. Violate the rule, and you will cease to exist. And from that moment on, no power in the galaxy dared to test them again, for they had learned the truth. Humanity was the most dangerous species in the universe. The legend of Earth. The aftermath of war. The Galactic Empire was no more. Its fleets, once the terror of the cosmos, lay in ruin. Its ruling class, once arrogant and untouchable, had been wiped from existence. Entire systems, once forced to kneel beneath its might, now stood in uneasy silence, staring into the void where an empire had once stood. But one thing was certain. No one would ever forget what happened. On Earth, there was no celebration. Victory was never in doubt. Humanity had known from the moment the rule was broken that the Empire's fate was sealed. Instead, there was a quiet, collective understanding. They would never make this mistake again. The Earth had been attacked. Its women had been taken. Its people had been threatened. And in response, humanity had destroyed an empire that had lasted for over 10,000 years. The rest of the galaxy watched in terrified silence. The survivors of Zephyros Prime. In the shattered remains of the Imperial homeworld, Rachel Carter and her strike team walked through the ruins of the Emperor's palace. The battle was over, but there was one final task to complete. Inside the deepest vaults of the Imperial archives, hidden beneath layers of security, they found classified records, files detailing the Empire's true knowledge of Earth. Rachel scanned the reports, her face unreadable. They knew. The Empire had always known that Earth was different, that its people were more than just another primitive species. They had records dating back thousands of years, accounts of ancient warlords, kings, and civilizations that had risen and fallen on Earth, each one more brutal than the last. The Empire had watched from the shadows as humanity forged itself in war and fire, constantly evolving, growing stronger, adapting faster than any other species in the galaxy. And yet, despite knowing all of this, they had still dared to break the rule. Rachel closed the files. There was nothing left to discuss. She turned her team. Burn it. With a single order, the last remnants of the Empire's knowledge of Earth were erased. No one would ever study humanity again. The message to the galaxy. As the Black Fleet withdrew from Zephyros Prime, Rachel and her team returned to Earth. Humanity had no interest in ruling an empire. They had no desire to control the shattered remnants of the Galactic Senate or force their will upon alien worlds. But they left behind a warning. Across every remaining Imperial system, on every planet that had once sworn allegiance to the fallen Emperor, a single message was transmitted. You broke the rule. You paid the price. Never forget. The warning was not just for the former subjects of the Empire. It was for everyone, and the galaxy listened. A galaxy forever changed. In the years that followed, the legend of Earth grew. No species dared to test humanity again. Wars that had once raged between alien civilizations came to sudden, uneasy truces, for no one wanted to risk drawing Earth's attention. Earth itself remained a mystery. No alien dared set foot upon its surface. No spies returned. No warships approached its borders. Humanity had become untouchable. They had no need to conquer, no need to threaten. The universe had learned that lesson the hard way. And so, in the vast reaches of space, across thousands of worlds, in whispered voices and fearful tones, the legend of Earth was spoken. A species that fought like demons. A people who avenged their own with the fury of gods. And above all else, a single, unbreakable law. The rule number one of the universe: don't touch the Earth's women. Because if you do, there will be no mercy.